Hi, I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, Egypt's chief judge is sworn in as interim president after the military removes the country's first democratically elected president and seizes control.
I'm Peggy Pico. San Diego police offer a get-out-of-jail card of sorts for July 4th partiers who break the law. Who qualifies for this instant justice and how it keeps bad behavior off the record.
A protest today in Balboa Park by a group urging the government to restore privacy rights this Independence Day. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Egypt has a new interim president. Adli Mansour is the Chief Justice of the troubled nation's High Court, sworn in today, replacing ousted leader Mohamed Morsi. Millions of anti-Morsi protesters celebrated when he was removed by the military yesterday, shooting fireworks over Cairo's Tahrir Square. Morsi remains under arrest at an undisclosed location. Morsi's supporters are condemning his ouster, calling it a coup, and called for immediate release of scores of Muslim Brotherhood officials arrested since Morsi was forced from office. Many San Diegans hit the beaches or fired up the grill. Some celebrated Independence Day in a different way, protesting in Balboa Park today for Restore the Fourth, part of a nationwide demonstration calling for the government to restore privacy rights. Organizers of the San Diego protests say it was inspired by information leaked by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden.
The government deciding things behind doors outside of public knowledge, classified, unwarranted searches. We feel like that's unacceptable. It's against our Fourth Amendment rights, which promises privacy and security in our homes and in our papers and our persons. And if, let's say, a probable cause, they really can't collect data from any of us. And they have been for years. This is really the tip of the iceberg.
Protesters signed petitions asking to end surveillance programs. They chose today because it reminds people about the Fourth Amendment and our country's independence. Well, expectations are high for tonight's Big Bay fireworks display after last year's show over San Diego Bay went spectacularly wrong. That's when 15 minutes of fireworks went up in 30 seconds. The Garden State Fireworks Company puts on the display and spoke with KPBS reporter Allison St. John.
I spoke to August Santori Jr., who is the son of the father and son company that runs the fireworks show, Garden State. And he said he comes from an old Italian family that has been running fireworks for 123 years. So they're determined to set the record straight and give us a good show this year. He said that this is one of the largest fireworks shows in the country, one of the 20 largest, in fact. And here's what he had to say about what they're doing to make sure it turns out right this year.
Certainly, we're taking all of our precautions that we've always done, as well as we're going to run some active checks that are disconnected from the fireworks, maybe quadruple or quintuple check, because we checked for a very, very long time last year, and, we're as surprised as anyone when the situation had occurred with the computer file.
Santori said he started planning the show back in October, picking the music and choreographing the fireworks. Then he's had a team ever since June working on the 4 barges in San Diego Bay where the fireworks will be fired from. He says that he's giving the Port District a break this year and not charging them the $125,000 that it cost to put on last year's fiasco. And he says also this year's show will be actually a couple of minutes longer than last year's. Last year's was scheduled to be about 15 minutes. This year's will be more like 18 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. Promises to be quite spectacular.
The Big Bay fireworks start at 9 tonight. You can see it from Shelter Island, Harbor Island, the Embarcadero, or Seaport Village. There will also be free shuttles from Point Loma and the Port District parking lot on Pacific Highway. Check the Big Bay Boom website for more information. It was a beautiful day to be near the water in San Diego with lots of families celebrating on Fiesta Island, barbecuing, playing in the water, but to beat the crowds and get a prime-time location to watch the fireworks tonight, you had to get up early.
We got here at like 5 a.m. That's what you got to do.
Well, our boyfriends got here at 5 a.m. We got here a little later.
I came here with my family. This is my wife, Sandra. I have all my nephews and nieces. My sister-in-laws, my in-laws are here, having a great time.
I was in the military for a couple of years, so I do understand the importance of this day and how free as a country we are compared to other countries in the world. So I definitely appreciate, where I've lived.
And 4th of July revelers who break minor laws may be offered a second chance by police. Peggy Pico explains who qualifies for instant justice.
San Diego is somewhat known for its beach parties on the 4th of July, and as we've seen before, those parties can get out of control, resulting in tickets and even some jail time. But there's an alternative called instant justice, which could keep your holiday rule breaking off your permanent record. Here to explain how the program works is Deputy City Attorney Terry Winbush. And Terry, welcome.
Thank you very much.
What sort of offenses or misdemeanors are eligible for this instant justice?
It's mostly infractions. We include littering, smoking on the beach, having your dog at the wrong time, things like that.
Minor stuff, but what about when it comes to alcohol or traffic violations?
Drinking in public, being drunk in public, having an open container of alcohol, those would also all be included.
But not traffic violations, correct?
No traffic violations,
okay.
Right.
Like to settle that right up front, what
yes.
works and what doesn't. Tell us how this works, how this would go about. It's July 4th, an officer is walking down the boardwalk and PB, somebody's drinking a big old thing of beer. What happens?
The officer approaches, and it's the normal citation procedures. But if the person is cooperative, and we hope everyone is, the officer will offer them the option of doing instant justice on July 8th. He will explain the program to them, give them a flyer, and give them information on how to sign up and come to the program.
So before we talk about what you do on July 8th, I want to make sure people know this is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. The officer can do the usual route, right?
Right. This is not a get-out-of-jail-free card by any means. If you are not cooperative, if your offense is not eligible, if there is something about you that suggests to the officer that you wouldn't be cooperative at the voluntary program, then you may not be offered it and you will have to go to court on your citation.
So what do you get? Let's say the opposite is true and you're under the instant justice program. What happens then? What's going to happen? They take away your beer and then what happens?
They take away your beer, they give you the flyer explaining the program, and then on Monday, July 8th, they will come down to the parking lot of PB Shore Club and they will register with a valid ID, the citation copy showing that they're eligible because the officer makes notations, and then we will sign them up and explain to them the cleanup they'll do.
And so it's cleanup. Then they go up and clean up other people's messes.
That's right, and some of their own. We found participants cleaning up their own mess.
Oh, like, oh, whoops, sorry about that. All right. Are they fined, court time, jail time, anything like that?
If they complete instant justice, there is a $40 registration fee, which is a lot cheaper than court fines, which typically run in the $200, $250 range. For the minimum. So they come, they don't have any court fines to deal with. They pay the administrative fee. They do the cleanup for 6 hours, actual 5 hours of cleanup, and then they never have their ticket filed against them.
So it doesn't go on their record. So this is good for, obviously, the people who qualify for this, but it also benefits the court system, right?
It's absolutely great for the court system. It diverts all those cases from traffic court. The court is really involved and supportive of the program, and it helps the community as well get that cleanup right after the July 4th holiday.
Sure, and for somebody who's done it not under this program, just to be clear, there is a lot of, it's amazing how much trash can happen in one day. Now, this program has been used other holidays. You've tried it out?
Yes, we've had the instant justice program. Our first time having instant justice was July 5th, 2011. It was really successful. We tried it out on Labor Day that same year. We had 19 people complete the program, which is great for that holiday, but we found that the best participation is around the July 4th holiday.
All right. Any suggestions to avoid either going through the instant justice program and or getting a citation for July 4th?
The key when you go out there, go on the internet and look at the regulations for the parks and beach areas. Know that it also applies to the boardwalks, the parking lots, etc. But also read the signs. You're right out there. Lots of signs are in place, about 900, I believe. They tell you what you can and can't do in the area.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. They even have pictures for those people that are a little bit difficult reading. So what's the community response been to this?
They love it. You know, as a member of the Neighborhood Prosecution Unit, I do go to community meetings in Pacific Beach, Mission Beach, Claremont, etc. And we discuss this program and how it benefits them, and they do love that this program gives back to their community.
Okay, and we have links on our website, kpbs.org, so folks can find this out and learn more about it. Deputy City Attorney Terry Winbush Winbush, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
The 4th is a festive day for people, but fireworks can be terrifying for our pets. It's also a time when many shelters see a big spike in stray animals. Here's some tips on how to keep your pets safe. Many pets tend to get lost in the loud commotion of Independence Day and often end up at the San Diego Humane Society. Their heightened sense of hearing causes many animals to flee in search of a safe haven. Kelly Herway with the Humane Society says keep your pet inside to avoid any problems.
They're going to be safer there. They're going to be more comfortable. Just make sure you don't have any holes in your fence or open windows that your pet could get out of.
She says consider leaving on the TV or playing soothing music to help drown out the noise. And make sure they have a comfortable place to hide or retreat to if they get stressed out.
Whether it's a crate with a bed inside the crate, they will feel really protected inside of the crate.
And if house guests are coming over, be sure they know the rules about keeping your pet inside at all times. And because the day after the 4th is when the Humane Society and shelters see a big spike in the number of stray animals, it's always a good idea to have them microchipped.
You can get your microchipping here at the San Diego Humane Society right now for just $10. So it's really easy and affordable, and a great way to make sure if your pet does get out that it's returned to you quickly.
You're also encouraged to give your pets their favorite toy or treats to keep them distracted during the fireworks. If they do go missing, contact your nearest shelter and report it. A La Mesa man is celebrating a very special birthday. Jack Briscoe was born on the 4th of July 100 years ago. He enlisted in the Navy in 1934 and is one of the only people alive who served in World War II, the Korean War, and Vietnam. Briscoe retired from the service in San Diego. He delivered mail in La Mesa and retired from the Fuller Brush Company 10 years ago. He says he takes a daily exercise class to stay in shape. Happy 100th birthday to Jack Briscoe. A quiet crisis is occurring along San Diego's shoreline where beaches are being literally washed away. Some homeowners have built seawalls to protect the eroding bluffs, and the Army Corps of Engineers is working on an ambitious replenishment project for the sand. KPBS North County Bureau Chief Allison St. John takes a look at some of the key players in the debate over sea level rise.
Down at Moonlight Beach in Encinitas, Charlie Marvin reminisces about how it was when he first came to live on the bluffs above the beach.
When I first got here in the early 70s, I first came down in 1971, there was a tremendous amount of sand. We used to have sand out in front of our home basically from about May until October, where we'd set up a beach volleyball court, like the courts you see over there, flat, heavy sand.
But 10 years later, things changed.
And in 1982, 83, I think it was, we had the El Niños. The first really bad El Niños. We had 2 huge storms that took away a lot of the bluff.
Beaches in North County have been getting narrower and stonier. The only reason Moonlight Beach looks so sandy is because tons of sand were brought in to replenish it earlier this spring.
If you don't replenish it, we will not have beaches.
A few miles south in Fletcher Cove, Solana Beach City Manager David Ott explains why beaches are shrinking.
That's because of dams up our rivers, jetties on our oceans, parking lots that cover all the sand flow into them. So there's really not a natural resupply of sand. So as the waves crash in, they take the sand out and eventually take all the sand out.
Ott says Solana Beach has almost 2 miles of 80-foot bluffs, mostly made of rapidly eroding sandstone. He says boulders the size of Volkswagens have rolled onto the beach without any notice.
We've been very fortunate in Solana Beach that so far nobody has died. However, in Encinitas, somebody died several years ago just sitting on the beach watching their husband surf.
Private homeowners who could afford it have spent millions building seawalls to protect their properties. But Solana Beach has recently passed a new coastal land use plan that introduces a time limit on seawalls.
In the approved plan, the permit will be issued for 20 years and then be reevaluated for any changed conditions after those 20 years.
Some private property owners have sued over this 20-year time limit, which was introduced by the California Coastal Commission. In the long term, the Commission advocates a more realistic approach, moving property back from the cliffs, a strategy called managed retreat, But Encinitas attorney John Kahn sued the Coastal Commission and won earlier this year as he defended his client's right to replace a collapsed seawall and stairs.
They try to soft pedal it like, oh, well, it's just so we can reassess it in 20 years. But in my opinion, and obviously in the judge's opinion, that's not the case. This is a plan to basically try to prevent people from having seawalls after a certain amount of time and to deploy this idea of managed retreat, which hasn't really gone through the democratic process.
The days of shoring up the cliffs with seawalls like these may be numbered, in which case Plan B is replenishing the beach with millions and millions of tons of sand. The Army Corps of Engineers will complete a study later this month on a plan to replenish beaches in Solana Beach and Encinitas over the next 50 years. It would start by spreading more than 1 million cubic yards of sand, more than 7 times more sand than in recent replenishment projects. One man who has his doubts about how dredging this much sand will affect marine life in Encinitas is marine biologist Dennis Lees.
You know, I'm not opposed to putting sand on the beach. My opposition relates to how much sand they're talking about digging up offshore.
Lees says he's found shells in the sand already deposited on the beach that show decades-old shellfish scooped up, animals that he says are an important part of the fishery's food chain.
They're very shiny inside. This is the coating I'm talking about here, which is what they call periostracum that grows on the outside of the shell. So this guy was alive. It's going to take what was the best and most productive areas and turn it into dead zones for in excess of 50 years.
Approval of the sand replenishment project may be fast-tracked. David Ott hopes the Army Corps and the Coastal Commission sign off on it later this summer.
Because there's probably no better poster child for a sand replenishment project in California than here in Solana Beach. And if we can't be successful here, it probably causes challenges for the rest of the state that may need some projects as well.
Even if the sand replenishment project is approved, there's the matter of cost, which Ott estimates is about $70 million over 50 years. He hopes federal and state budgets will foot most of that bill, but there's no telling whether shrinking budgets and the growing threat of sea level rise will make preserving our beaches and bluffs an increasingly difficult proposition. Alison St. John, KPBS News.
Well, maybe you had a chance to spend the day at the beach, but have you ever thought about where the protective seawall came from or who built it? Ken Kramer gives us a look back into the history of Mission Beach in tonight's About San Diego.
The old bowling alley, hamburger stand.
Lifeguard station.
The lifeguard station was right here.
They had 2 hamburger stands here.
Say hello to Terry Curran and Phil Prather, a couple of guys who wrote the book on Mission Beach. I mean, they go back to the days when this was a little community that had its own identity. Just a big neighborhood, really, is what it was.
This is where we grew up. This is where all the kids in San Diego came when they came to the beach.
These are photographs from longtime Mission Beach residents and from the San Diego History Center's archives. Take a look. It was San Diego, sure, but it was Mission Beach, to be specific. And Terry says as a kid, he just loved living here.
Well, life was so simple. In the summertime, I'd leave home at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't come home till dark.
Go way back from the very beginning, it seemed like there was a particular quality to this place, something special, something unique. By the late 30s and 40s here, Phil and Terry were calling it home, and part of what they do is recall and document how it was.
You remember the Safeway was right here, and they'd stack watermelons in the summer, and somehow or another, the kids would walk by and kick a watermelon, and it would roll out onto the sidewalk, and somebody else would be right there to scoop it up.
And out here buried under the asphalt is the old Raleigh trolley car tracks.
Now you get to talking with these guys about Mission Beach, and you quickly learn how at times and in spots this place has flooded, of course. Rains, high tides, and one particularly bad storm in the 1920s when there was just a wooden boardwalk. The surf tore up houses along the beach. It was a mess. And out of that came this, the seawall that everybody knows today. Well, in trying to learn more about the seawall, Phil and Terry came across a piece of home movie film shot by Dr. and Mrs. Raymond Penwarden in 1927 and 28. And what this is the Mission Beach seawall being built.
They built the piles for the retaining wall, they mixed the concrete, cut all the steel.
It was all designed by a man named Burl Phelps back in 1927 and took months, but finally it started looking like the wall and oceanfront walk we know today. But there are some things you might not know.
This wall goes all the way down to bedrock. And on the ocean side, he built a lip on here so the surf would come in, hit the wall, and bounce back toward the ocean.
Only thing is, it's a public beach and the sand is generally higher than that lip, so you don't see it. What you do see every once in a while is some pretty amazing pictures of surf splashing against that wall.
Sometimes the surf will bounce up 20, 30 feet and then come crashing down onto the walkway and taking care of fences and sometimes houses on the shore.
Then there was this, one of the strangest things beach residents had ever seen. It's foam, just foam.
I do recall, it was probably in 1939, after the big storm, where the wind blew the foam off of the ocean and covered the entire beach, where we could go down the steps into this foam, and it was over our heads, and we would walk through this, and it was one of those things kids love to do.
So much more. There was the dredging of what would become the Mission Bay we know today, a mammoth project that fascinated kids like them who grew up here, lived here off and on their whole lives, still love it, still remember so many of the little things.
Right on the next corner was a drugstore with soda fountain. Whatever you needed, it was here.
And remember I said they wrote the book? They really did. The book on Mission Beach, from Terry Curran and Phil Prather, who certainly do know and recall a lot about San Diego.
If you want to see more of Ken's stories about San Diego, his half-hour show can be seen tonight and every Thursday at 8 on KPBS.
I'm Jeffrey Brown. On the next NewsHour, historical perspectives on the landmark decisions from the Supreme Court. That's Thursday, Independence Day, on the PBS NewsHour.
Tonight's Public Square is from a string of posts on our KPBS Facebook page. It starts as a very long love letter to America by Jose Rosa. He begins with, "We spend so much time criticizing you, pointing out faults, and trying to fix you. I just wanted to remind you that I love you with all my heart." Rosa continued by forgiving some of the country's bad choices in the past, which triggered many rebuttals from J.C. Denton Anderson, including, "You're basically saying, yeah, America has really screwed a lot of people over and committed genocide and is institutionally corrupt. But I love it. Anyways, it reminds me of a battered woman who says, I know he ain't perfect, but I love him." Induranta Dapari shifts the focus with, "The country doesn't matter. The people who live in it do. Now the problem is what to do when the people are dingbats." Rosa finished his letter with a traditional birthday wish for many, many more birthday celebrations for the country. You can read his love letter and comment on this story and any others on KPBS by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, or email us at publicsquare@kpbs.org.
San Diego weather cooling along the coast for the next few days. More clouds than sun with temperatures near 70 at the beaches. Upper 70s and low 80s inland with a mix of sun and clouds by late in the afternoon. The excessive heat warning's been canceled for the mountains, mid to upper 80s through Sunday, and toasty in the desert with temperatures well above 100. You can find tonight's stories and download the KPBS app all on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. We leave you with some information where you can find and watch fireworks around the county. Have a great night.